Friends, gather round because things just got real in the wacky world of social media. The digital landscape is shifting, and it's time to take notice. On January 17, 2025, in a move that surprised absolutely no one paying attention, the highest court in the land, the Supreme Court, decided to uphold the ban on TikTok. This decision has sent ripples through the tech world and beyond. Now, we all knew this was coming, right? The writing was on the wall, scrawled in giant neon letters visible from space. It was only a matter of time before the hammer came down. For years, concerns about TikTok's data security practices and its ties to the Chinese government had been swirling around like a particularly persistent swarm of digital mosquitoes. These concerns were not just whispers in the dark, they were loud, persistent, and impossible to ignore. But still, the finality of it all hit like a ton of bricks. The reality of the situation is sinking in, and it's a heavy load to bear for many. TikTok, the platform that had become synonymous with viral dance crazes, lip-sync battles, and teenagers doing things that made us feel incredibly old, was effectively gone. Poof! Just like that. The app that had entertained millions and created countless internet celebrities was no more. This wasn't just some minor software update or a temporary outage. This was a seismic shift in the digital world, a change that would be felt for a long time. This was the digital equivalent of bulldozing a cultural landmark. Imagine the Eiffel Tower or the Statue of Liberty being torn down overnight. That's the level of impact we're talking about here. And like any demolition, it left behind a whole lot of dust and debris, along with a whole bunch of questions about what comes next. The future of social media is now more uncertain than ever, and everyone is left wondering how this will reshape our digital interactions. The immediate aftermath of the ban was, to put it mildly, chaotic. It was as if the digital world had been turned upside down overnight. Imagine a flock of pigeons suddenly realizing their favorite statue has been replaced with an abstract sculpture. They scatter in confusion, unsure of where to go next. There was a lot of confused flapping, some head-scratching, and a general sense of, wait, what just happened? People were left in a state of bewilderment, trying to make sense of the sudden change. For millions of users, TikTok wasn't just an app. It was a creative outlet, a source of entertainment, and a way to connect with friends and strangers alike. It was a part of their daily routine, a place where they could express themselves freely. The ban meant losing access to countless hours of videos, playlists, and direct messages. It was like having a favorite hobby suddenly taken away without warning. It was like having a chunk of their digital lives abruptly deleted. The sense of loss was palpable, as if a part of their identity had been erased. And then there were the creators, the ones who had poured their hearts, souls, and countless hours into building a following on the platform. They had invested so much time and effort only to see it all disappear in an instant. Overnight, their carefully curated feeds became digital ghost towns. The vibrant communities they had nurtured were now silent and empty. The algorithm they had spent years trying to crack was now irrelevant. All their strategies and insights were rendered useless, leaving them at a loss for what to do next. Their primary source of income, for those lucky enough to turn TikTok fame into a career, vanished into thin air. The financial impact was immediate and severe, leaving many creators scrambling to find alternative sources of revenue. But you know what they say, nature abhors a vacuum, especially a digital one with millions of users and billions of dollars in potential ad revenue up for grabs. The social media landscape is ever evolving, and the sudden exit of a major player like TikTok created a massive void. This void was not just a gap in entertainment, but a significant opportunity for growth and innovation in the digital space. The moment the TikTok ban was announced, it was like someone fired the starting gun in a race to become the next big thing. Companies and creators alike scrambled to find their footing in this new landscape, eager to capture the attention of millions of displaced users. Existing platforms, sensing blood in the water, went into overdrive. They saw an unprecedented opportunity to expand their user base and increase engagement by offering features that could fill the void left by TikTok. Instagram, already a major player in the social media game, doubled down on its Reels feature, hoping to lure disgruntled TikTokers into its embrace. They invested heavily in marketing and development to make Reels more appealing and user-friendly. YouTube, never one to miss an opportunity, started showering creators with incentives to make Shorts, its own bite-sized video format. They offered monetary rewards and increased visibility to attract top talent and content creators. And then, there were the newcomers, the plucky startups hoping to capitalize on TikTok's demise. These new platforms aim to offer unique features and experiences that could set them apart from the established giants. We saw everything from platforms focused on niche communities like gamers or foodies, to apps that promised even shorter, more ephemeral content. These niche platforms aim to create tight-knit communities with highly engaged users. It was a digital gold rush, with everyone hoping to strike it rich. The competition was fierce, and the stakes were high, but the potential rewards were enormous for those who could capture the hearts and minds of the digital audience. Section 4. A regulatory domino effect. The future of social media oversight. The TikTok ban wasn't just a watershed moment for social media, it was a wake-up call for the entire tech industry. It sent a clear message. The days of unchecked growth and lax regulation were over. Suddenly lawmakers and regulators, who had previously struggled to keep up with the ever-evolving world of tech, were emboldened. If the most powerful country in the world could ban TikTok, what was stopping them from cracking down on other platforms? Privacy concerns, data security, and the spread of misinformation became hot-button issues. Calls for greater transparency and accountability from tech giants grew louder. The TikTok ban, it seemed, had opened Pandora's box, and there was no telling what other regulations might emerge. Section 5. A glimmer of hope, potential positives amidst the chaos. Now, before we all spiral into a vortex of despair, let's take a step back and acknowledge that amidst all the chaos and uncertainty, there were some potential positives to emerge from the TikTok ban. For starters, it forced us to confront the uncomfortable truth about our reliance on social media. It made us question how much of our lives we were willing to hand over to these platforms, both in terms of our data and our time. The ban also highlighted the need for greater digital literacy, not just for young people, but for everyone. It underscored the importance of critical thinking, of questioning the information we consume online, and of understanding the potential consequences of our digital actions. Section 6. The price of privacy, weighing national security concerns. Of course, no discussion about the TikTok ban would be complete without addressing the elephant in the room: national security. The US government had long argued that TikTok posed a threat, claiming that the Chinese government could access user data and use the platform for espionage or propaganda. Supporters of the ban argued that it was a necessary step to protect national security, even if it meant sacrificing some individual freedoms. They pointed to China's track record of censorship and surveillance, and argued that it was naive to think that TikTok would be immune to government pressure. Opponents, however, argued that the ban was a dangerous precedent, setting the stage for further restrictions on free speech and internet freedom. They pointed to the lack of concrete evidence of TikTok being used for espionage, and argued that the ban was more about economic competition than national security. Section 7. A digital crossroads, navigating the evolving social media landscape. So, where do we go from here? The TikTok ban marked a turning point in the evolution of social media, a digital crossroads of sorts. The coming years will likely see a continued tug-of-war between governments and tech companies, between calls for regulation and demands for innovation. We can expect to see more debates about privacy, data security, and the role of social media in our lives. One thing is for sure, the social media landscape is changing, and it's up to us, the users, to navigate this new terrain. We need to be informed, engaged, and willing to speak up for the kind of digital world we want to live in. Because if the TikTok ban taught us anything, it's that the future of social media is not something that will be decided for us. It's something we need to shape ourselves.